Hello, welcome back to Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm James Pendleton and I'm here to do our weekly news show. It's been a really busy week for Everton, which is good in terms of we finally signed a player. We're being heavily linked with players. There's news every day, kind of really, which is good. Obviously, Dele interview came out today as well, which I didn't hear anyone talking about this. I don't think anyone really knew it was happening, and it was obviously a really good watch. Would advise going to tune into that. Obviously touches on Everton and what the future may hold, but more importantly talks about him, what he's going through. We did do a show on this a couple of months back, me, Steve and some of the lads from the Unholy Trinity podcast. We talked about Dele at length, and we looked at what the future might hold for him. So yeah, really good stuff, and obviously hopefully his Everton career is gonna take off, but more importantly we just obviously hope he's obviously doing all right, which is the main thing. But looking at the news, there's been news on incomings, a little bit of news on outgoings, and most prominent of the former is Anthony Elanga. That's really accelerated over the last 24 hours. I think it's Sty Stoney from the BBC is reporting that Everton are looking to seal a deal between 15 and 20 million, which bordering on eye-watering numbers for someone who isn't hasn't really pulled up many trees. But I believe this is the same bloke who said that we signed James Garner for about 15.5 million when I think it was like 7 with add-ons. I would predict this would probably end up going the same way of being about 7-8 million, getting up to maybe 15 odd with add-ons, which would be fine. United fans seem really unhappy with this, which is good. I think I saw one talk about if there's no buyback clause, then what is the point in even selling him, which I can understand that kind of level of frustration. Some people talk about loan moves. I say all the real sources seem to be saying Everton are going after him on a permanent deal. Sam Luckhurst, I believe it is, from the MEN, he said that Everton were keen in January, they're keen now. I don't really seem to remember us being massively keen in January. I don't seem to remember that being a big story, but it seems that was the case, and Everton have just continued that kind of scouting of him. Sean Dyche seems to like him, Kevin Felwell as well. So yeah, I'd be a big fan of this move. I think he'd be a good signing for us. Play on the right, play on the left. Brings a bit of pace, bit of dynamism, decent goal scorer. And I would be for that. There are rumours that Nottingham Forest are looking to potentially gazump us for this move. The time to claim that they're looking at a deal to bring him to the City ground. I struggle to see whether that's true or not. I think I saw some people saying he'd replace Brennan Johnson, but it might be a case that he's probably going to stay for another year, but then Morgan Gibbs-White may stay for another year. They probably don't want to lose both of them in the same summer, so maybe he'd end up being the replacement for him. Obviously we have to wait and see. It's funny because when we were looking like we were definitely going to sign Andre Ayew, I remember there was like a rumour going around that there was an unnamed Premier League club who were also after him, and I was like, who could this possibly be? And someone was like, oh yeah, it'll be Forest. They're the team who just signed everyone, and lo and behold they did. Not to particularly great effect. I don't think we really missed out there, but interestingly enough anyway. Back to what I said before, though, about saying I'd be a fan of this Elanga move. I did thumb it up in our poll. 58% were saying yes, they take out the Elanga. 22% were unsure, and 20% gave down thumbs, or thumbs down, should I say, rather. I think that's probably the reaction I'd expect. I'm definitely closer to unsure than no, to be honest with you. I think every time I watch him, I think he looks decent. United fans really seem to rate him. In terms of what he could be. I think they think he's a bit raw now. Not good enough for United at the minute, that's fine, but I think he can definitely forge a good Premier League career out, and at 21 he could be good enough for United even in just a few years. Some people are saying he's got a high ceiling and he's more likely to reach your potential than someone like Garnacho, which is interesting. Don't know how true that is, but just going off what I've seen from United fans, so I'd be all over that personally. Speaking of things I'd be all over, Arnaut Danjuma back on loan again. I feel like I've gone in a time warp. I was all over this move when it was being linked, and then he obviously seemed to bottle it and do the dirty on us. Pictures, medical, handshakes, all sorts, and I remember it was that Pete Irwet, Footy Insider, I believe it was, who said no, it's not happening now. I remember thinking, that can't be true. and then like the bobble does a space, and it was just an awful sort of 12 hours. I remember thinking, yeah, that's us gone now, because I think Danjuma, someone who could play wide up front, it would have really helped us last season. Even off the bench, would have been a hugely marked improvement. So I'd be all over it. The Athletic say we're looking at him. Alex Truck say he's keen, or he's open to the move anyway. Not sure how much I believe in Alex Truck as a source, to be totally honest. Get some stuff right, others not so much, which is quite normal, I suppose, to be fair to him. But yeah, I'd be all over this. I think Danjuma's a good player. He's waited the last 6 months of his career. You feel like he'll be hungry. You feel like he'll come and he'll really want to do well for Everton. But we shall see. Speaking of wide players, Alex Iwobi's been linked to a move to either Inter Milan or Fulham. Did see people talking about him moving clubs yesterday, and there were people saying it could be an Italian club. And then Inter have come in, that's according to Jack Talbot, I believe that was, or Talbot rather, sorry. Spoke about Everton quite a lot the last couple of weeks, so we'll see what comes to fruition and what doesn't. I mean, if you can't sign a new deal, you sell him 100%. 20 million quid, that's fine. I like Alex Iwobi. I think he's a good player. I think he's good for our system. I thought he quite liked Everton, but the fact that the contract's been on the table for, you're talking sort of 6, 8, 10 months now, and he hasn't gone. He spoke about Champions League. I don't think he's Champions League quality, if I'm being totally honest, but we shall see. Obviously, if he goes to Inter Milan, then he's in the Champions League, so I really don't see him signing for Fulham. That just feels like because Marco Silva's there, but we shall see. I think, my preference is definitely to sell him if he doesn't sign that new deal. I think I probably would say rather sell him, to be fair, than sign a new contract, just because I think Everton need money, don't they? But that is a close one. I say I don't mind too much either way. Photomax saying that Holgate had been offered to Besiktas, which is just massively random. Quite a big source over in Turkey though, so who knows. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of players going out to Turkey because it's normally a loan move. They never improve their value really. Look at Dele Ali. I mean, it's obviously, I know there are more things at play there, but Cenk Tosun's another one, went back to Turkey, and it wasn't like his value went up at Everton. If anything, it plummeted. So we'll see if they want to sign him permanently. Take him for 5 million, maybe slightly less, slightly more. That'd be fine by me. And then finally, David Maddock is saying that Everton have bid £25 million for BILAL TOURÉ, or El BILAL TOURÉ, should I say. Interestingly, I'm not sure on David Maddock as a source. To be totally honest with you, his release clause is €40 million, and Everton are meant to be bidding sort of £8 or £9 million below that. Seems strange. Obviously, the instalments could be better, the add-ons could be better. I don't know. The whole structure deal might be better for Almeria. Who's to say? But in the same week that it looked like he could be going to Atalanta for around the same fee. I'm not sure how much I believe this, but it's interesting. It's interesting that that's still kind of going on. I think if you asked me last week, I would have thought him and Rodrigo would have been the ones to happen. You asked me at the start of the week, I would have said probably still Touré and Nonto. And if you ask me now, I think it looks like Elanga is definitely going to happen, and probably Danjuma is more likely than Touré. So it's just moving all the time. But he's someone I'd be really interested in signing if I was Everton. So we'll have to wait and see. But numbers are being banded around, names are being banded around, loans, permanents, all sorts. It's exciting now. At least we're getting somewhere. I say you're talking, I think it's 29 days, maybe 30 days till the season starts. So you really want to get a couple of players in even before pre-season finishes. That'd be really important. I think Ashley going through the door. Who will be next? We shall see. But thank you all very much for watching. Let us know down in the comments who you would like us to sign, what you think about the players being linked with, and whether any of them will come off. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Nice one.